Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we are going to discuss the man who challenged great giants and stalwarts of physics like Newton and Maxwell. The man who revolutionized our understanding of space, time, and gravity. The man whose work laid the foundation of quantum physics and contributed to the evolution of modern technology, including lasers and computer chips. The genius whom the world celebrates today, Albert Einstein, was born on 14th March 1879 at Ulm, Wittenberg, Germany, to Jewish parents Hermann and Pauline Einstein. Albert Einstein had difficulty in speech until the age of 9. Young Albert was taught to be a below-average student and regarded as mentally retarded by his teachers. Einstein was expelled out of school by his headmaster, who labeled him a rebel and a dunce. Although a Jew, Einstein was sent to a Catholic school, where he would be trained as a good German rather than a good Jew. As he grew up, he began to think of himself not as a Jew, not even as a German. Science, he said, was about nationalities. He was a citizen of the world, and his religion was a private matter between himself and God. This remarkable young man, with a terrible reputation as a student, had to work many odd jobs to sustain himself. Einstein's father died believing he was a complete failure. After obtaining a degree and teaching diploma in mathematics and physics, Albert Einstein searched for a job for almost 2 years and finally found a job as a patent clerk at the Federal Office for Intellectual Property in Bern, Switzerland. After 7 years at the patent office and 1 year as a guest lecturer at the University of Bern, Einstein became a professor of theoretical physics at the University of Zurich. The year 1905 was considered Annus Mirabilis, the year of miracles for Albert Einstein. It was during this year that Einstein received his PhD from the University of Zurich and published 4 groundbreaking articles. In March 1905 paper, Einstein challenged Maxwell's idea of light as an electromagnetic wave and proposed the particle nature of light, which revolutionized the field of quantum physics. His particle theory of light was not accepted for almost 2 decades. Such was the pure genius and foresight of the man. Albert Einstein's 1905 paper on the electrodynamics of moving bodies contains his famous equation E is equal to mc square and delineates the principles of special relativity, so called because it deals with relative motion in special case where gravitational forces are neglected. This revolutionized the idea of space and time. Einstein merged space and time into a single space-time continuum. Special relativity is an explanation of how speed affects mass, time, and space. The theory includes a way for the speed of light to define the relationship between energy and matter, given by the classic E is equal to mc square. In other words, energy and mass are interchangeable. They are in fact 2 different forms of the same thing. Einstein identified gravity as curved space-time. According to Einstein's theory of general relativity, space and time are no longer flat as assumed by Newton, but can be pushed and pulled, stretched and warped by matter. Gravity feels strongest where space-time is most curved, and it vanishes where space-time is flat. In other words, matter tells space-time how to curve, and curve tells matter how to move. Albert Einstein was awarded the Nobel Prize in Physics for his contribution to theoretical physics and for his discovery of the law of photoelectric effect. From 1920 onwards, Einstein was working towards a unified field theory which would combine general relativity to electromagnetism. His long-standing dream still remains an unrealized dream. Einstein remains as one of the most iconic figures of all time. His intellectual capacity, incredible patience, perseverance, and courage in the face of challenges and struggles only proves him to be a celebrated hero of not only the scientific community but the entire humanity. From a patent clerk to a university professor, from being labeled as a mental retard to becoming one of the world's greatest geniuses, Albert Einstein is the world's greatest mind who attempted to read the mind of God. Quoting Einstein, "A human being is part of the whole called by us universe, a part limited in time and space. We experience ourselves, our thoughts and feelings as something separate from the rest, a kind of optical delusion of consciousness. This delusion is a kind of prison for us, restricting us to our personal desires and to affection for a few persons nearest to us. Our task must be to free ourselves from this prison by widening our circle of compassion to embrace all living creatures and the whole of nature in its beauty. The true value of a human being is determined by the measure and the sense in which they have obtained liberation from the self. We shall require a substantially new manner of thinking if humanity is to survive." Albert Einstein, 1954. Hope you found my video interesting and informative. Thank you.